Today's video is to talk about a custom 1979 Sportster frame that I'm in the process of putting back together. Quick background, all Harley Sportsters from 1957 up through 1978 had forward-mounted canted shock absorbers and came with an 18-inch rear wheel. The early bikes, 57 through 1972, actually had a cast seat post section. Then in 1973, they went to this fabricated seat post. The 73s didn't have these struts, but what they found out was if you put a great big 300-pounder on the back and take them for a ride, this thing would actually bend down. So in 1974, they added these reinforcement struts. Also, all of the Sportsters up through 1976 had foot peg brackets that were already brazed on or welded onto the lower frame tubes, and those had the knurled shafts with the separate brackets that you had to use. And then in 77, the foot pegs became mounted on the motor. But the other thing that changed in 77, all the bikes up through 1976 had a top motor mount that looked like this. And then in 77, it got this little tube on the bottom, which bolts to a bracket on the rear rocker housing. And you can't see it up in here, but there was a bracket that goes off the rocker housing and a bolt goes up underneath here. So the backbones are different. Anyway, so I ended up buying a 1979 Sportster. It was a chopper several years ago for a road racer project, and I'm going to post on that in a different video. But basically what I got was a 1979 Sportster motor, and all that was left of the frame was the front down tubes and the neck. You can just barely see it, the VIN number, and the back had been chopped off and hardtail, and it was really a nasty thing. And I had no intention of trying to use it that way. And to back up, I was 18 years old in 1979. I'm sorry, 20 in 1979. And I was aghast when Harley came out with the redesigned frame that had the triangulated rear tail section. And then they came out with a 16-inch rear wheel and a disc brake rear end, and I thought it was the ugliest Sportster I had ever seen. So what I ended up doing, I still have my 1979 Sportster motor, and I had the neck from the original frame. So in my collection of parts, what I was able to do, I had a 1977 and 78 rear section. That's this piece with these frame tubes. You can see a little top of the seat post tubes, and this backbone, which takes that type of mounting bracket. And then also the frame that you see that's in gray primer actually was originally a 1975 frame. So it had the foot peg mounts welded to the frame and this kind of motor mount. So starting in 77, they had a tube going across here. So I took those brackets off here, added the tube here. I whacked off what was left of the 75 frame, which actually had come to me with a gooseneck on it. And then also cut it off directly below the neck, and then up underneath here, you can see the joint where the original backbone is spliced into this section here. So basically what I'm going to have when this is all welded together, I'm going to have a matching frame neck number and motor, which is very important for 1970 and later Harley Sportsters. But the best thing is I'm going to have the old style 1957 through 1978 forward-leaning rear-canted rear shocks, 18-inch rear wheel with a mechanical drum brake, your classic Sportster. And again, I really thought Harley had lost their mind in 1979 when they redesigned the Sportsters, and I really haven't liked them ever since then. Like, comment, share if you want to, or ask any questions if you have on this one. Measuring up for the splice pins today, and hope to get this thing welded together within the next couple weeks.